Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Amizan. We are from Group 5 and our topic today is COVID-19 and international trade of Sri Lanka. Our group consists of 5 members, which are me, I'm Aika, bin Muhammad Zakir, Siti Nur Azrin, Muhammad Fakusi, Fika binti Zaidi, and Haziq Aiman bin Muhammad Amiri.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Fakursi Shakir bin Ismail. My matrix number is 77354. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to many adverse social and economic implications for Sri Lanka. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Sri Lanka's international trade is significant. The global economic recession has had a major impact on export and import in the country, causing a decline in the Sri Lanka trade value.
Now I'm gonna explaining about this import of Sri Lanka in 2020. So in 2019, the value of merchandise imports from Sri Lanka is total 90.5 billion. And the top 5 countries from which Sri Lanka imported goods are China, India, United Arab Emirates, Malaysia and Japan. But because of COVID-19 pandemic, import expenditure fell by 19.5% to US 60.55 billion in 2020 compared to 2019. So with decreases in imports of intermediate goods, investment goods, and non-food consumer goods in 2020. And the cause of decrease in import expenditure were because by government restriction on the importation of non-essential goods due to declining external reserve. For example, Sri Lanka has imposed import restriction on 367 items deemed non-essential, including milk products, fruits, and fish. Besides that, low global oil prices, declining consumer demand, and high levels of production output threatened to exceed oil storage capacities, resulting in the lowest oil prices and a reduction in the importation of intermediate goods due to subdued economic activity in the country. Also, and because of that, spending on intermediate goods fell by 20.2% in 2020. Import expenditure fell in all 3 major categories of investment goods, namely machinery and equipment, building materials, and transportation equipment in 2020 compared to 2019. Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Afika binti Zaidi. My matrix number is 281571. So today I will talk about, in fact, COVID-19 on Sri Lanka's imports in 2021. Next, even the import roses, but the amounts of the vehicles imported has fell to $12.8 million US, over 815.7 million in the year prior to the pandemic. Also, the imports of the equipment and machinery has rose to the $2.8 billion from 2.1 billion in the previous year. So, for construction materials import also has grew from 1.0 billion to 1.2 billion dollar US in a year. Next, the total amount of the capital goods imported has grew from $3.5 billion to $4.4 billion. This is because some of the project are entirely funded by the foreign company. Next, the import for foods and drink is $15 US, which is up to 1.55 billion dollar. The import of dairy product also decreased by 4.8%, which is in 317 billion US dollar. So as I can conclude that in the country's trade deficit has not decreased by the drop in the imports of auto and the dairy products. This is likely being driven by the service income, foreign loan, and also the money creations. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, we're going to move to the effect of COVID-19 on export in Sri Lanka in 2020. As we know, the volume index for rubber, petroleum, textile and apparel item and the whole manufacturing factor exported at their lowest level over the time frames, which is in 2020. As we can see, the textile and the apparel in March became a negative 70%, in April negative 30%, in May negative 41%, and in June it's begun up again and increase again to plus 71% in June 2020. On petroleum, on the part of petroleum, we can see in March it dropped to negative 25 and drop again until 49%, and at May it increased again. It increased in May, which is at 93%, and in June it increased highest, which is positive 280%. And for the rubber sector, we can see in March it dropped to 28% in March and drop again in April to negative 80%, and increase quite big of amount in May, which is positive 227, and increase again in June, but the increase is not as many as in May, which is positive 31%. And the lastly is manufacturing sector, which is we can see in March it decreased to negative 90% and decrease again in April to 58%, and increase back in May, and continuing increase in June, which is 75% in June to 2020. As we know, the main factor that this industry began decrease because of shipping and aviation sector constrained activity during the shutdown, which is the marine and aviation sector have a limited operation. So the drastic drop in export volume brought on by the pandemic was soon regained notable in export of tea and coconut, as well all the agricultural export by April. And as we know, Sri Lanka also have a deficit account due to because their import is higher than their export.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Assignment bin Muhammad Amri and my matrix number is 280410. So in this video, I will give a short review about the Sri Lanka export in 2021. So when compared to the 2020, the value of item exported over the period of January to December 2021 representing a 24.1% increase. Nearly all of the most important product categories, including apparel and textile, tea, rubber-based products, coconut-based products, electronic and electronic component, spices and concentrates, food and beverage, seafood, and ornamental fish, all experienced an increase in export. So apparel and textile export increased by 22.93% to 5,415 million US dollar during the period of January to December 2021 compared to the same period of 2020. So the export of apparel and woven fabric expanded by 24.7% respectively and 99.84% respectively, while the export of made-up textile article and yarn and other textile article decreased by 44.81% and 8.1%. In the 12th month beginning in January 2021 and ending in December 2021, the amount of money made from the export of tea climbed by 6.72%. During the period of January to December 2021, export of all of the subcategories of the tea industry, including tea packets, which is 10.11%, bulk tea 2.47%, and others also increased in the comparison to the same period in 2020. So rubber and rubber finished product export earning increased by 33.87% to 1,092.6 million US dollar in 2021 compared to the year of 2020. This increase can be attributed to the higher export of rubber, industrial and surgical glove, and pneumatic and treated rubber tires and tubes. So in comparison to the previous year figures for the same time, export revenues from coconut and coconut-based product increased by 25.81% to 800 million US dollar for the period of January to December 2021. It is due to the improved performance in the export of liquid coconut milk, coconut cream, coconut milk powder, cocoa peat, mattress fiber and activated carbon, coconut oil, and desiccated coconut that earnings from all the major categories of coconut-based product. When compared to the same time in 2020, earnings from the export of electrical and electronic component increased by 28.38%, reaching 421.42 million US dollar over the period of January to December 2021. And compared to the same time period in the previous year, the total value of insulated wires exported over the period of 2021 reached about 70.7 million US dollar, representing a 43.15% increase. In addition, the export of electrical transformers, switches, boards, and panel, as well as other electrical and electronic products, increased by 65%, 34.19% and 22.43% respectively. Cinnamon, pepper, clove, nutmeg and mace, and oleoresin also increased for the export. All performed better than in the previous year, which led to an increase in export earning from spices and essential oil of 36.14%. So from the statement above, we can conclude that Sri Lanka performance for export in 2021 is better despite the COVID-19 crisis from the previous year.
As a conclusion, the lockdown of the country, closure of economic activity and resulting loss of livelihoods and income created serious impact on the macroeconomic performance such as production, consumption, saving and investment, employment, foreign trade, public finances of the country. The export and import trade of the country will be disturbed by local and foreign lockdown measures and restriction on international transaction. Hence, the Sri Lanka government have to take initiative to slow down the economic downturns of the country. That's all from us. Thank you.